What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? I'm the Godless Engineer, and I critically analyze apologist claims to give you the best arguments and information so that you can stand up and use your voice. Today, we are going to be taking a look at a clip from the line. Today's call is from Xeno, and Xeno is going to be advancing the argument that because we don't know things with 100% certainty, therefore God exists. The supernatural God exists, or a supernatural God exists. I'm not exactly sure which one, but what I do know is that if you want to fuck around and find out how Xeno is going to prove that God exists, then please stay tuned.
Let's talk to Xeno. He's been on the line for about an hour waiting, so let's get him in here. We got Xeno, pronouns he, him, calling in all the way from South Korea to talk to us about the evidence that he has from God, or for God, pardon me. Xeno, you are on the line with Forrest and John. How you doing today?
Hey, Forrest, how's it going?
Never had a bad day, man.
Do you remember our last call?
No. I'm sorry. I do
Okay,
at least one of these shows a week.
Okay, so I kind of left like a dickhead, but I do want to tell you, I want to have a serious conversation about this. So I just want to preface it with that. Yeah.
Sure. I appreciate that. I don't remember our last call at all, but I forgive you for whatever it was. I don't know what happened. And we got John here too. Yeah, I'm excited to hear what John has to say about whatever you're saying.
My argument was, I believe God is a creator. So we talked about the simulation. How can we prove life is a simulation or not a simulation? Is it coming back to you now? I said something about you can't prove dreams, you can't prove colors. You remember now?
I've heard all those arguments before. Okay. It does not ring any bells. We can't prove colors. Okay. Yeah, we can. And we can't prove dreams. Yeah, we can.
Why do you think you can definitively prove colors?
Because colors are defined by the wavelength of light that they represent. So if it's this many nanometers to that many nanometers, we call it red. I can't prove that our perception of that color is the same, but I can prove that it's going to have the same effects. We're going to call it the same thing. It's going to have the same psychological effects. We're going to use it in the same kind of marketing for that reason. I can prove all sorts of things about the color, and I can prove the wavelength of the color, and I can use that color to do science by spectroscopy and learning about the universe around me. I can use that color for light physics. I can use that color to understand prisms better and understand and like also I can do so many things with that color because I know what a color is, and I can prove that that color is real. I can't prove that you see red the same way I see red, but I can prove what red is, and I can prove what red does.
So you basically think you can know something. Like I don't think
is what I just said.
Definitively know. But you think because you see it and you identify with it, that means you absolutely know it? Is that what you're saying?
Let me. Is that what I just said at all?
Yeah, it sounds to me like you said because I identify with it and I can study it with my eyes. You're taking on face value what you see.
Well, that's not what I said. So I will repeat it then. I will repeat it because clearly you misunderstood. I did not say that at all. Science is not in the business of proof. Science is in the business of evidence. There is absolutely nothing that I can know absolutely 100% for sure, but I can say that there is enough strong evidence that it would be absurd for me to believe this thing isn't true. We never accept a hypothesis. We fail to reject a hypothesis. And so far, I have nothing that allows me to reject the evidence that I have that visible light exists within a certain nanometer spectrum. Each individual color has its own subset of that spectrum, and colors behave in ways that I can predict and test and measure, and that colors have different psychological effects on people, and that's why they're used in marketing and stuff all the time, and in art all the time, color theory all the time. There's a lot that we can know about light as far as we can know anything.
Okay, so if you're a brain in a vat, that could be wrong, right?
Are you going to act? I will answer that question, but first I want to ask you, are you actually hinging any argument on that, or are you using that to try to find some absurdity in my position?
Yes, I am. I'm hinging a lot of arguments on that. Yes.
Okay, that would be an unfalsifiable claim. It doesn't matter, is my answer in that case.
What about your co-host?
John,
If we're a brain
John,
in the vat,
do you have any? Yeah.
I hate hard solipsism. I hate it with a visceral, like, gut reaction. It doesn't matter if we're a brain in a vat or not. This is the reality that we're presented with, and we're all, at least as far as we could tell, sharing in that reality. We can measure like the wavelength of light, and we can determine at what point that wavelength of light is reflecting off of something, and that gives us a color. Like, I don't understand the point in this line of question.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and get into it then. So I understand you hate hard solipsism. I hate hard solipsism as well, but it is something you have to grapple with. It is something philosophers have contemplated for many years.
Good for them. I don't give a
wait. If I can just finish my thought. I understand your hate for it because I hate it as well. But because we can't prove that we're not programmed, right? And we can't prove we're a brain in the vat, we have to be skeptical about what we perceive as truth. Would you agree with that?
No.
Okay. So I'll just continue and tell you how I got to God from this.
So would you like you? So you don't actually want to talk about that, because I don't agree with that, and I can tell you definitively why. But it seems like you just want to move on to the next thing.
Well, do you want me to move on? Because I know we have limited time. So
I don't agree with that. So first of all, I don't care what philosophers have been arguing about for a long time. I'm a biologist, not a philosopher. I care about what farts are made of, not what they smell like. So for me, when we talk about like, we don't know that we're not a brain in a vat, therefore we have to doubt everything. I agree that we should remain skeptical of what we think things are. I agree with that wholeheartedly. But that's what science is for. As I said a minute ago, you never accept a hypothesis. You fail to reject a hypothesis. You only move forward with an idea, and you can no longer prove that it is wrong. You're going to have to let me finish. You only move forward with an idea when you fail to prove yourself wrong. And when new evidence comes along, you change your mind. Because we are in this area where we can only take in information in so many different ways, we should be skeptical of the information that we take in. And that is the whole point of understanding naive realism. That is why so much of science is translating things that we cannot perceive with our five senses into a language that we can perceive with our five senses. That's what we do. Now, you're saying that this is because you can't prove that you're not a brain in a vat. And I say that is as ridiculous as saying it's because any other unfalsifiable claim. You don't buy into any other unfalsifiable claim, or you do buy into the possibility of all of them, which would be even more ridiculous, and you're just picking and choosing ones that are comfortable for you, that make sense for you, and saying that this is the reason why somehow or another you're going to get to God. And I don't understand why you're putting in all that extra legwork. It is not worth your or my or anybody else's time.
It's worth a lot of famous philosophers' time, or they would not try to come to the philosophies that they came to. This is not a scientific question. This is a philosophical question.
Yes, it is.
Whether
or not a God exists is a scientific question, yes.
No. Do you think science is able to truly measure what is actually true? Like 100% truth. You think science is a good tool for that? Science could only study the world around us.
I'm gonna have to.
I think the point of science. I think the point of science is to be able to describe reality as accurately as we can, right, and to remove as much of our own bias, like, from our conclusions. Like, that's the goal of science. So I would think that if there was any way in order for us to know the truth of reality, science would be the best bet that we have.
Okay, and let's move forward with that. Science is, well, we didn't all come to an agreement and say, well, we agree with what the science says. Science contradicts other science, right? There's scientists that also hold a belief that is different from another scientist. So I understand what you're saying. We're doing our best to understand the natural world, but that's why we introduced philosophy. We have to eventually come together and say, when do we talk about all the things science can't study? So that's why philosophy was introduced, to study that fundamental
what can't
nature of
science
reality.
Study? What can you tell me what science cannot study?
Yeah, sure. Can you give? I'm going to answer that by asking you the definition of philosophy.
Oh my god! Why can't you just answer the fucking question?
Okay, sure. Science can't study the philosophy of nature.
What does that even mean?
The philosophy of nature.
The philosophy of nature is about the fundamental, the most fundamental thing about reality, right? That's the most fundamental.
Why wouldn't science be able to analyze reality?
Also, why is philosophy the most fundamental thing about reality?
No, it's able to analyze what you see in reality. Philosophy goes outside of what you can actually see. It tries to answer philosophy isn't what you know. Science is what you know. Philosophy isn't what you know. It's what you don't know. So science,
I agree with that.
With,
that makes sense. Yeah, science and philosophy is the shit you don't know.
If we're trying to have an honest conversation, we have to acknowledge these things, right?
No, this is totally useless to me.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, in order to have this conversation, I feel like I need to huff way more of Jordan Peterson's farts, like out of a champagne glass.
What's frustrating to me, Xeno, is that like you're sitting here saying that like that science contradicts itself all the time, and there's these different scientists who believe different things, as if philosophers fucking don't. Like, that's the thing, that like when we talk about disagreements in science, yeah, there's plenty of them. There's some people that look at this particular reconstruction and they're like, actually, I think this bone might also, this muscle attachment shaped in such a way that it might have used this way. And then there's other ones like, actually, the muscle attachment isn't that way, but there's this other muscle attachment here, and that I think it might have actually been this way. And so I think maybe this thing swam in this direction, and this one's like, no, I think it swam that. Little disagreements about like how and why things happened, and like in what order things happened, and what the facts mean when we put them in this order versus that order. Disagreements about shit like that. Whereas with philosophy, it's disagreements about like, what is moral? What is truth? Do we live in a world? Do we like, and I'm not disparaging philosophy just for the fun of doing it. I think philosophy is great. I think philosophers are a lot of fun. I have some friends that are philosophers. I took some philosophy classes. It's radical. It's a great thing to do. But to sit here and say that it is a pathway to truth that is in any way more reliable or more useful than the scientific method is absurd. And to sit here and pretend that philosophy, this natural philosophy of the things you don't know, is a way that's going to get you to understand things that science can't know is just fucking dumb.
Yeah.
I would love to hear your actual argument for God, because this isn't going anywhere. It's been 12 minutes.
Okay, well, that's why I wanted to call you about it, to perhaps have a better conversation than the fucking Bible, which is bullshit, and you'd rather talk to these motherfuckers. So that's kind of strange how you're like, oh, this isn't a cool call, but you talk to fucking people who believe in Jesus Christ for like 30 minutes.
I don't think it's a cool call for you to sit here and say that you can think your way into understanding the universe better than we can measure our way into understanding.
So at least let me get my position out. At least let me explain it.
It's been 12 minutes. Just go ahead. What's your position?
Xeno, we would love to, Xeno, we would love to hear your argument. But if you have to present a 37-page dissertation for it, this is not the venue for that.
Okay, all right. Well, it's hard to move forward with you guys because it's like every time I start talking, you guys give me a fucking sermon. But
because you say something ridiculous and we have to explain our position. Just tell us why you believe in God.
Well, everything you say is ridiculous for us, but that's why we're having a conversation.
Quit bitching. Just tell us why you believe in God.
Okay. Number one, we're not able to determine 100% truth with our eyes. That's the position
Does that make you believe in a God?
Yes, I'm trying to get there. So
I'm asking you a question. You just said we can't determine anything with 100% certainty. Is that why you believe in God? Okay.
Yes, but I'm trying to break it down. If you just give me a chance.
Why don't you believe in anything else based on that?
I believe in a lot of things. God is just one of them.
I'm asking you, why don't you believe in any other supernatural claims based on the fact that you can't know anything with certainty?
Well, when you have a belief isn't what you know, right? A belief is a belief, and what you know is what you know. I don't think you can know everything. So I have belief.
It didn't answer my question.
I have a belief that a creator exists because I'm a reductionist.
That doesn't answer my question.
I break things down. I reduce it to theory or logic, set theory or logic. I break it down like engineering, right?
That still doesn't answer my question.
We're able to reduce complex parts. We're able to reduce.
I don't understand how any of this relates to engineering, but okay. So how does?
Can you please just really quickly, Xeno? What question did I ask you?
Well, your co-host started talking, and there was a delay. I heard what you said. You were asking me about.
I asked you a question, and then you went on this diatribe about how you break things down. You're a reductionist. You break things down like engineering. What question did I ask you before you started talking about all that? What was the question I asked you?
You were talking about God, right?
What question did I ask you?
How do you get to God?
What question did I ask you?
How do you get to God?
No, that is not what I asked you.
How do you get to God? Okay, can you repeat what you asked?
You weren't listening. So listen this time. The question that I'm asking. Nope, that is not what I asked you. I asked you your initial claim.
Delay. Why don't you repeat it?
You listened to me speak and started talking. Do not blame the phone for you not paying attention. Your initial statement was that you don't believe in. Your initial statement was that you can't know anything for certain with absolute certainty. That's the whole point of the first 12 minutes of the call. You said that you can't know anything with absolute certainty, and I asked you, is that why you believe in God? And you said yes. My question that I posed to you immediately after that you then spent a long time not answering, was why don't you hold any other supernatural beliefs based on that? Are there any other supernatural beliefs that you hold because you can't know anything for certain?
And I responded with belief versus no. Do you remember that I said that?
That's not the answer to my question.
Are you fucking listening?
That's not the answer to my question.
It's an answer you don't accept.
Do you believe in a God?
Yes.
Right. So do you believe in any other supernatural things the way you believe in a God because you can't know anything with certainty? Yes or no?
Can you try to rephrase it?
No, that's your fucking words that I'm just giving back to you.
No.
You said that you believe in a God. You said that you believe in a God because you can't know anything with 100% certainty. I am asking you, is there any other supernatural thing that you believe in for the express reason that you cannot know anything with 100% certainty?
I believe you can believe all sorts of things, but you cannot truly 100%
That's not what I asked you. That is not what I asked you.
I totally don't get it.
You won't answer a fucking question. See, this is the shit.
Forrest is the problem in this conversation. God damn it, Forrest. Why you got to make so much fucking sense all the time? Why can't you just speak in fucking Jordan Peterson fart?
Okay,
shit?
Let me ask you this way.
Answer the fucking.
Can you believe?
I'm not going to let you ask me anything. I just want you to answer the fucking question.
I'm going to try again. You don't accept.
Okay, right now, answer the question.
Okay. Go.
What do you mean go?
Go, ask it. I answer it.
I've asked you three times.
And I keep answering you the same fucking way.
Which isn't an answer. Do you not understand what I'm asking you? Is that the problem?
Says the person that thinks they can rely on their senses?
I don't think you understand what I'm asking you. Either that or you're just actually bullshitting yourself. I asked you, do you believe in God? And you said yes. And then I asked you, do you believe in something else? And you have to go on this fucking tangent of, well, I believe, but I don't know. And knowing and believing is different things.
It's not
Just answer the same fucking yes or no that you answered about God. Do you believe in God?
So you want to craft
yes.
my argument.
Do you believe in anything else that's supernatural for the same reason? That's the answer.
So you want
Give me an answer. I'm muting you because you won't fucking stop talking. Just answer a straightforward question, Xeno. You said you believe in God because you can't know anything for certain. I am asking you, is there any other supernatural claim that you would claim belief in because you don't know anything for certain? That is a yes or no question. And I will immediately follow it up if you answer yes with what, and if you say no with why. It's a simple question. It's not a trap. I'm just asking if you use the same rules of logic for your God as you do for literally anything else ever, because I don't think you do. Quit bullshitting yourself and answer a fucking question. I'm bringing you back on. What is your answer, Xeno?
I'll dance to your tune. No.
Great. Why not?
Because belief is what you believe. Slowly.
Which is the same bullshit you gave me earlier.
No is what you know. 100%.
John,
you understand.
Do you care?
So because I can't know anything,
I don't know. I'm totally lost in this conversation. I don't know if it's my sickness brain fog, but like we just want to know why you believe in God, and you keep giving us this bullshit about belief versus no and shit. And like, that's not getting us anywhere in the conversation. So like, I really don't even know where to fucking go with this.
Yeah, okay, Xeno, so I don't think that you're honest with yourself enough to have this conversation. So I'm going to move on.
Dude,
it is a complete waste of our fucking time. Yeah, it's our fault. Fuck you. Listen, I'm not going to fucking deal with Xeno, who literally cannot fucking answer a simple yes or no question and then calls it dancing to my tune to answer if he believes in anything. Do you believe in anything? Well, let me tell you this. Do you believe in God? Oh, yeah, totally. How hard is that? Just say yes or no, and then tell me why. And then you're going to sit here and be a fucking douche and claim that we're the ones who are fucking forcing you to behave like an adult. Oh, shame on us. I'm not dealing with it, dude.
I wouldn't. I mean, I was done with that conversation a while ago.
Yeah. Also, fucking, you guys deal with all these idiots that believe in the Bible. It's a fucking theist call-in show. What do you want? That's the point.
All right, heathens, thank you so much for joining us today. If you will, please go down below and let us know what you thought about this call. Do you think that Xeno is onto something here, or do you think that maybe he needs to scrap all these ideas because they're totally fucking ridiculous? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. And while you're down there, why don't you smash that like button and subscribe if you like this kind of content. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice. Bye, heathens.